Hello my friends, and welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the latest version of Komorebi, the tiling window manager for Windows, which is written in the Rust programming language. The latest release is version 0.1.35, Razel, and there are so many great new things in this release that I'm really excited to share with you. Before we get into that, a couple of public service announcements. The first of which, if you've seen these videos before, this is always the first PSA. Please make sure you update your applications.json file. You can do this by running komorebi fetch-asc. You can do this very, very regularly because this is updated independently of Komorebi. And if you don't know what this does, it's basically a file with rules to make lots and lots of applications just work. In particular, since the last release, there have been a lot of rules and fixes added for creative apps like Blender, like Ableton, like Photoshop, like what else, like CAD. People are always adding rules. You can add your own rules, just open a pull request. Anyone is free to do whatever they want with these files. There is another tiling window manager called Vim that consumes these rules. It's a labor of love from everybody in the community, and yeah, you would be surprised, like if you have not updated this file in like a month or 2 months, and then you run fetch-asc and you restart, you'll be like, oh my god, all of these apps that were being a little bit weird before are just working. And you might wonder why. It's probably because somebody figured out the right kind of tweaking to do, and they codified it and they added it here. So that was PSA number 1. PSA number 2 is for the stats nerds. So I did some number crunching, and it looks like once again over 7,000 people upgraded to the latest version of Komorebi in the last release. I'm still roughly estimating a user base of between 10 and 20,000 users across all versions of Komorebi. I don't have very granular information because if you've ever taken a look at the privacy policy, no data about your devices or Komorebi usage ever leaves your device, right? So I'm just going based off of the numbers that are reported by GitHub when these files are downloaded. If you are one of those many thousands of people who uses Komorebi and you use Komorebi at work, you are required to purchase a individual commercial use license. You can click this link. It will take you here to the licensing page. There are monthly and annual options. And you know, most companies reimbursed for software licenses. So in the best case scenario, you're helping redistribute hoarded wealth from corporations back to independent developers. And in the worst case scenario, you're paying less than 50 cents per working day out of your own pocket, supporting this beautiful piece of software that we all love and hopefully is saving a significant portion of your sanity while you're stuck working on Windows. In the last video, I reported there were 22 active individual commercial use licenses. Since then, we are now at 28, and we also have this nice little widget here on the README, which gets updated. It also gets updated here on the licensing page. So if you're someone who likes to follow along with the progress of how things are going, just keep an eye out here. And of course, there are always the notifications that are coming up in the Discord whenever somebody purchases a subscription. As I said in the last video, the goal for this year might be a lofty goal, but it is the goal nonetheless, is for 1,000 of you to purchase an individual commercial use license subscription. I say 1,000 because that means I would be able to go part-time at my day job, which also means that if Microsoft were to push some like awful update that breaks everything on a Monday, you wouldn't have to wait for me to have time away from my 9 to 5 to be able to fix it. Or to be able to start fixing it. Who knows how long it would take? And who knows how long you would be without this lovely piece of software saving your sanity. So yeah, those are all the PSAs, and I think it is time for us to get into some features. So let me see, what do I have? Okay, the first feature is one I am so freaking excited about. All right, let me put my phone on the side. All right, you've probably seen this already if you've been on the Discord. It is the floating window layer. And so now there are 2 layers on a workspace. Right now we are on the tiling layer. And let me see if I can do something to make this a little clearer, because we have some new widgets now as well, by the way. We have this workspace layer widget, and I'm gonna add icon and text. Let's update that. Okay, so we can see here now, top left, we are on the tiling layer. But, hear me out, but what if we switch to a different layer, like the floating layer? Okay, nothing has happened, but I am going to launch an edge window, and that edge window is now floating, and I can move that edge window around with the same komorebi move command. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Then I can switch back to the tiling layer, and that window goes to the background, and my move and focus commands now operate on the tiling layer. When I want the floating layer back, I toggle again, and I have the floating layer back. So there's a lot of different pieces to this, but in a nutshell, it is this. It works with multiple as well, so like you can change focus, you can move them around, you can resize them. It's really cool. I am super, super happy with this. It has really changed the way I work with komorebi, and I have been using komorebi longer than anybody else, and I'm really, really set in my ways, but I don't know, man. I guess you can teach an old dog new tricks. I really like this new trick. I hope you'll like it too. So there are a couple of things here. So there's the workspace layer widget, which is a new komorebi sub widget, which will give you a visual indicator of the layer that you're on. There is also the komorebi toggle workspace layer command, I believe it is. Yep. And this will toggle you between the tiling and floating layers on the focused workspace. We can take a look at my WHKDRC file, and I have that set to here, Alt plus Shift plus semicolon. So when I do that combination, I toggle between the different layers. Pretty cool. I hope that you all think this is as cool as I do, because for me, this is very nice. This is very nice. Yeah, I hope you like it. Give me some feedback on this. We're going to iterate on this. We're going to continue iterating on this. This is an initial implementation, but already at this phase, for me, it's incredible. Try it out. Really cool. Next up is a configuration option. I thought actually I had implemented this a long time ago, and somebody who I recognized as like a blast from the past, Necro posted on an old issue that I had closed because I thought it was done. And he was like, hey man, what the frick? Why did you do this? Why have you done this? Let me see who that was so I can give them credit. Credit is due. Vernetzt was like, hey, was this added? I can't seem to find any docs for it. Now it has been added. You can thank Vernetst for bringing this to my attention. And what this does is it allows you to pass multiple application configuration files like this in an array. So you can have like the upstream file, and then you can also have like your own personal file, right? For apps, I don't know, like internal company apps, things that you don't want to put in the upstream ASC repo, and then it will just load them in order. You can separate like the community rules from your own rules. Pretty cool. I'm only using the community rules because I work on a MacBook. Unfortunately, pretty bad times not having komorebi at work. It's very frustrating. But you know, if you are somebody who is lucky enough to use komorebi at work with a license, check this out. I'm sure it will be very helpful for you. What do we have next? There was a kind of an odd request, actually, if I'm honest. I thought it was kind of odd. Somebody asked for a command to let them go to the next or to the previous empty workspace. Let me get this up on here. So yeah, we added the cycle empty workspace command, and it takes like previous next, and it will focus the next or the previous empty workspace on your monitor. I still can't think of a use case for this, if I'm honest. I still cannot think of a use case for this, but if you're somebody who is hunting around for empty workspaces, you're like going workspace 1, 2, 3, where's the next empty workspace? Now you have a single command that you can bind to always direct you to the nearest to the nearest empty workspace. Yeah. All right. Serious face. What else do we have? We now have padding at the monitor level. So monitors can now take both container padding and workspace padding, and that will be propagated down to each of the workspaces. And you can also still override on a per workspace basis. Somebody wanted this, I think, on the Discord. Again, I don't really see a use case for it, but as we have learned, I like to give the people what they want within reason. I like to give the people what they want, and I feel like this one was within reason. Next up, we used to have this kind of weird issue with borders, where if you would like hover over the custom komorebi borders, you would sometimes get the loading icon instead of just like, you know, the regular icons that you expect. Somebody complained about this, and I thought they were going to bounce off of komorebi, but they stuck around after I fixed this. I initially did it, like I fixed it to spite them, but then they stuck around. So I'm glad you stuck around, because yeah, now everybody gets to benefit from having the correct cursor icon shown when you hover over the borders. And now on to the big news, right? There has been a very big overhaul of the multi-monitor setup done by Alex DS13. Alex has just done some of the most incredible work I have ever seen on all of this. He has gone down to the depths of the Win32 API and the Windows monitor messaging system, and he has returned with secrets that he has shared with all of us. And he also made this really great documentation page. So if you have ever had any kind of multi-monitor problems when you're connecting, when you're disconnecting, when you're reconnecting, windows going here and there when you don't want them to go here and there, and just the things not happening the way that you want them to, this will fix like 99.999% of them. Very detailed walkthrough here. Do check it out. Yeah, like this is for like the laptop warriors who are, I don't know, I'm guessing that you've been forced to return to the office and you have your little company laptop that you plug into your monitor when you're at your desk, and then you have to get up like every 30 minutes to go to a conference room where half of the people have dialed in on Zoom, on Teams, and they're not in the office because they're ranked higher than you in the org chart, and they don't have to come back to office. Only us nobodies have to come back into the office. And I might be projecting a little bit, just a little bit. But, you know, if you're in that situation where you're constantly disconnecting and reconnecting, and you used to be having issues, you should not be having issues anymore as of this update. So check this out and say thank you to Alex. I will say once again, thank you, Alex. Speaking of docs, we have like a new little usage section here for new users. This is something I have been working on. I was thinking, if I were a new user, what would I want to be able to do first? Like when I start up Komorebi for the first time, what are the first actions that I would like to know? Like, how do I achieve this? So I thought, focusing windows, moving windows, stacking windows, focusing workspaces, and moving windows across workspaces. This is a work in progress. We're going to add more to the usage, and I would like it to be sort of in that kind of order that makes it, I don't know, easy, logical, approachable for new users to work their way through sequentially. So we'll see how that goes. If you're a new user, if you're checking this out for the first time, do go through the usage and let me know if you have any feedback. Back to the features that we have added. CT-Byte added a bunch of new features on the bar, some Easter eggs. I'm going to see if I can find the actual commits, because CT-Byte is very good about, what do I want to say? He's very good about putting videos and images as he works in the PRs. So we got this one, we got this one. And this one. These are the main ones I wanted to show. Where is the frickin'... Where is the pull request for these? From CT-Byte is closed. At CT-Byte, there we go. That's not right. That's not right. Alright, you're gonna have to bear with me while I find these. I'll probably cut this part of the video. Okay, here's one. We can start with this one. Alright, so this adds a little Easter egg, which is like, you can opt into this with the changing icon setting, but it gives you different little emojis at different times of the day, and CT-Byte based this on my schedule. So yeah, I thought this was very nice. I know somebody's going to complain, so I got him to put this behind the option setting. I hope you'll like this. I think it's very nice. It's very cute. It's an example of just like a nice little bit of flair that you can add to the code base if you would like. That was that one. The time zone, add time zone to time widget. Somebody requested being able to add the time zone so that you could have multiple instances of the time widget or the date widget. And yeah, now you can do just that. You can add the time zone, then you can have multiple clocks. I only have the one, but I'm sure that there are people with loved ones in different time zones who would like to have a quick reference of the time in those time zones. Or if you have workers, I know maybe you love your fellow workers, your fellow comrades. If you have fellow comrades in other time zones, in other offices, also useful to be able to just know, hey, is this person still at work? Is this person gone home? Is this a good time? Is this a bad time? You know? So that one is really cool. And add options to show all icons on workspace widget. Where is that? Oh, I think this one was done a little bit earlier. Add options to show all icons on the komorebi workspace. So I don't use this. I don't really like having a whole bunch of icons, but some people like this. And now, actually, I don't use the icons at all here. But if you're someone who likes the icons on the workspace widget, it will now also show, just rewind this a little bit. It will show the focused window or application on that workspace by rendering the icon a little bit bigger. Yeah, this is cool, I guess. I don't use it, but I know some people really, really like this. I don't really have that many apps open because like I just use Windows at home on my personal computer. I always have the same apps open, right? Like I have my terminal, I have my IDE, and I have like Discord and Beeper here. And then from time to time, I have like DaVinci Resolve or Adobe Premiere here. I'm a pretty simple guy, you know, when it comes to my personal computer use. So if you're somebody who's wrangling a lot of different apps, I'm sure this is going to be very, very helpful for you. That's pretty much all of the features. There are two more things that I wanted to highlight. One is that just in general, if you are developing komorebi, if you're hacking on komorebi, the build times have been significantly improved. It used to take, for me at least, on my Ryzen 5900, it used to take more than 5 minutes to do a clean build of the entire workspace. So that's like all of these crates, right? Now it takes about a minute. That's like a significant improvement. And other people who regularly compile from source have also given feedback that, yeah, this is way faster. The other thing, I wonder if we can actually show this here. So there has been, oh, it's because I'm not logged in. But anyway, you may have seen already here that there are a whole bunch of these PRs under test, all of these commits. And that is because a new contributor, Source Packets, has been committing a whole bunch of tests to this repo, a whole bunch of unit tests. And Source Packets has the honor of being the first person to write a unit test for komorebi. And I cannot explain just how much mental overhead this takes away, especially now that the project is at the size that it is now. Like there was a point in time a couple of years ago when I could still keep a mental map of the entire project in my head, but like I definitely am not able to do that now. I'm forgetting my own changes like 6 months later. I have to go back, I have to read my long commit messages to figure out what was I thinking, what state of mind was I in, what was I trying to achieve by doing this. But yeah, now having all of these tests, I believe they cover significant portion of like the hot paths now. So we have a whole bunch of tests in Window Manager, in Workspace, and Container, and Monitor. It's a real game changer. It is a lifesaver. So thank you so much to Source Packets for kickstarting that. I am now also in the habit of writing tests for new features, or before I make a change when I see that a test is not already there. This is one of those silent hero situations, I guess. So I wanted to give a lot of credit, a lot of thanks, a lot of gratitude, and a lot of love to Source Packets, who is doing incredibly important work to just improve the reliability of the software that we have all now come to rely on for a sane experience on Windows. So thanks once again, Source Packets, from me, from everybody who works on komorebi, from the entire community. I am sure this is going to make the project much more approachable, even for new people who are interested in making changes, because it's always a huge boost to my confidence, at least when I go into a code base and I start making changes, to be able to run a test suite to make sure I didn't break anything or I didn't introduce a regression. All right, I think that is all of the features from version 0.1.35 that I wanted to go through, but we are not done yet, because there is one incredibly cool feature that I am very, very excited to share with everybody. It's already actually in the next nightly release. It is the locked containers feature. Right, so how does this work? I'm sure you've all had this before, right? Like if you're using the ultra wide vertical stack layout like I am now, it works like this. All of the layouts work like this, right? The biggest tile always has index 0. Then the next tile, in this case the one on the left, has index 1, and then the next tile, index 2, and then as this splits horizontally, index 3, 4, 5, it goes down like that. So if you're here on the main tile and you open a new window, what it's going to do is it's going to displace this tile. Sometimes you want that, but I think it's very, very rarely that anybody wants that. Like if you are here on the main tile, you have probably set something else that you want for reference here on the left. And if you're opening a new window, you don't want it to displace that secondary tile, that second most important tile. So I think this should work. I'm going to try and displace it now. Okay, right, so I popped something off of this stack, and it displaced the terminal over here to index 2, and this has taken index 1, and I still have my main window here, index 0. So let's bring all of that back. What we can do now with locked containers is we can lock a container. So I have just locked this container, and you can see now it has a different colored border. So now if I pop this window from this container stack, this container will be locked in place. It will not be displaced. So I'm going to pop, and you can see that the PowerShell container here is still locked. You still have your main window for the stack, and the window that was popped is skipping over the locked position and moving to the next available tile. A little bit of an advanced feature, but if you can work this in, you're really gonna like it. Just trust me, you're really gonna like it. And so the command for that, like if you're on the nightly, is komorebi toggle lock, This will toggle a lock for the focus container, ensuring it will not be displaced by any new windows. I'm still playing around with what I want the shortcut for this to be. Right now I am using, where is it? Toggle lock. Here. So I'm using Alt and the period key, the full stop key. I'm not 100% sold on it. If you have ideas for a different key binding for this, I'm open. I'm open to try that. But yeah, this is something, again, I have not been using it that long, but this paired with the floating workspace layer, I'm really excited about both of these. So again, to reiterate, the floating workspace layer is in version 0.1.35. If you want to play around with locked containers, you need to check out the latest nightly release, and you can see that commit here. Ooh, damn, that was a lot of stuff, huh? That was a lot of stuff. I hope you all are as excited about this as I am. Like, not just this feature, just the whole project, right? I've been doing this for 5 years. I am still so excited by every release, by the way this is all going forward, by the growth of the community. Now we have Rice Baby as well. Some good times. Thank you all. Thank everybody. All of you for your support. It means so much. This is going to be such a huge part of my life, and I wouldn't have it any other way. All right, before we say goodbye, let's say thank you to all of the people who have been sponsoring this project. These are people who they use Komorebi for personal use, and they find it valuable enough that they're like, hey, I want to contribute financially to this project so that it can keep going forever and ever and ever. Before I do that, I almost forgot. Okay. Hear me out. I got a floppy disk writer. And we were joking about this on the Discord for a little bit, but I'm gonna do it. I'm rolling out a new $20 a month sponsorship tier, and for the people who sign up for this, right? I'm sure it's not going to be many of you. I'd be surprised if there is even anyone who actually does this, but the people who sign up for this tier will get a floppy disk, a limited edition physical media release of Komorebi for like every release. I will mail you a floppy disk. It will have like code, Easter eggs. I'm still figuring that bit out. It's not going to be like big features or anything. It's just going to be like silly, cool, cute stuff. But you will have limited edition physical media releases of Komorebi. Yeah, I'll see. If anyone actually takes me up on this, I will probably make it more and more elaborate with like limited edition stickers and all sorts of stuff. But you know, if you have the money, if you love the software, if you really love collecting limited edition physical media, do check this out. All right, with that being said, let's say thank you to all of the sponsors of this project. Starting with Hazeen. Thank you, Sandeep, David, Chris, Timothy, James, Pavel, Felipe, private sponsors 1, 2, and 3, Andrew, Eli, Johan, Cody, Nia, private sponsor number 4, Nauti, Ivan, I'm not sure, please correct me, Dimitri X2K, Kyle, Alex DX13, who you should all say thank you to for the amazing work on the multi-monitor disconnection reconnection support. Ever, Chris, Purian, Harold, PJ, HFGGIJ, Hyro, DM1681, Darian, Steve J, Kilroy, my boy, Evan, Nicholas, Alex, Solomon, and of course, #1 OG sponsor, my friend Hisayuki Mima from Tokyo, Japan. I wonder if Hisayuki has ever watched these videos, because Hisayuki has been sponsoring since like 2022. He's like OG. But yeah, Hisayuki, if you're watching these videos, if you're seeing these shoutouts, drop me a line, say hi, and thank you all so very much. If you would like to sponsor, come on over here. There are different sponsorship tiers. You get my love, my gratitude. You get sponsor roles. You get shout outs. If you have a project, I'll give it a shout out in one of these videos. Yeah, thank you all so much. So very much. All right, my friends. I think it is time. I think it is time to say goodbye. I hope that whatever you will do today, you have a great day. Free Palestine, and I'll see you all back here next time.